I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I am very excited to talk about sports!
Hey everybody, Nick here with the Wednesday Night Sports Podcast. It's been too long. This is episode 13, question mark, our unlucky number, but we are coming back hard, and we got some good things going on this week. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts. First, Logan. How's it going, Logan? Long time no speak.
We are back on the podcast live. What a bunch of stuff we got to cover.
And of course, Alex. How's it going, Alex?
I'm so tired.
Too damn bad. We're gonna force you through this.
It feels good to be back.
Yeah.
This feels about right.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and get things started with the NBA playoffs. We're already on the conference semifinals. Logan, what are your thoughts thus far?
I got two words for you with a summary so far.
LeBron James?
No.
LeBron James!
The biggest story of the first round, Damian Lillard. With the confidence the way he hit that shot probably about a week ago, that is one of the most iconic playoff shots I've seen in my lifetime of watching the NBA.
Hang on, what about Derek Fisher against San Antonio Spurs in 2004?
That's up there. But the reason I put this up here is because the trash talk that was going on the whole series. Westbrook was talking crap and doing that little rock the baby taunt to Damian Lillard. and Lillard backed it up and just beat him. I mean,
how many
points
did he get for it?
For me?
No, how many points did he get for the shot?
Oh, it was 3. But the way he shot it.
3 whole points. We're all super excited about 3 whole points that Mr. Lizard made.
Oh, I missed you so much, Alex.
Damian Lizard?
Yes.
And he scored 3 points, and we're excited.
But with the cockiness and the swagger, he just shot over Paul George and hit the game-winning buzzer beater to send the Portland Trailblazers to the next round. They're down 1-0 to the Nuggets. I guess not much of this means much if they lose to the Nuggets, but that's
the Nuggets are from Denver. I like them.
That's kind of the biggest story that came out of round 1. Anything else was I don't know. I guess the Game 7 with Denver and San Antonio, but
everything else went to either Game 4 or Game 5, and one Game 6.
I don't think it was a very enjoyable round 1 other than that.
And this is the first time since 2005 that LeBron James has not been in the playoffs. Is it weird? It's weird to me.
It is weird, and I'll tell you why it's weird. It's because last time that I paid attention to NBA basketball, Carmelo Anthony played for the Nuggets.
Wow.
And ever since then, all I've ever known about the NBA is that LeBron James is LeBron James. And so to hear that he's not in the finals, I thought they would have canceled it.
It's the equivalent to if the Patriots weren't in the playoffs.
Right. But the Patriots not being in the playoffs is a good thing. I think LeBron not being in the playoffs is a bad thing.
Right, because the NFL is going to get ratings regardless.
Right.
The NBA's, they still have great ratings going on right now, and part of that's probably because the Golden State Warriors, the ultimate bandwagon team.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure none of those people were fans when Baron Davis went over the Dallas Mavericks in the 2007 playoffs.
Hey, that was my favorite Warriors team. I like that team.
Where are the Golden State Warriors from?
Golden State.
They're the San Francisco Golden State.
I was going to say, the Golden State, you might as well tell me that. If you told me the Golden State was Tennessee, I'd believe it.
if I'm not mistaken, they're in Oakland right now.
Yes.
And they're actually going to be in San Francisco for the new arena, I think. Or San Jose. You know how that weird, like, they're so close. Like, that new arena.
The shithole that is the Bay Area. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I've never been. I don't ever plan on going because of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that's...
But you know who my favorite Golden State Warriors team was? Is when Antoine Jameson knocked down 51 points on Shaquille O'Neal and the Kobe Bryant Lakers.
Oh, Antoine Jameson sending it back. Former Tar Heel.
My favorite Tar Heel of all time.
I love... Yeah, that's...
I like the Tar Heels.
No, we're not talking about that.
Oh.
Fun story, like Antoine Jameson was like kind of like when I first started getting into college basketball, was kind of like the first Tar, like on that first Tar Heels team that I could remember as a kid, like him and Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vince Carter for announcing he's going to play the longest of all time. He's going to go to his 22nd NBA season.
It's either Ric Flair of the NFL, NBA.
Probably because he's still pretty consistent. Not that Ric Flair's wrestling right now, but he's still pretty consistent.
He could go to the Big Three when he retires. That's like going to TNA.
Yeah, the Big Three. Which draft I think is happening tonight.
Tomorrow.
Maybe. Tomorrow. Oh, sad we couldn't live cover that for the show.
I will I'll tweet it. With the first pick in the 2019 Big Three draft, the Arizona Hotshots select that guy with the Islamic name that I can't remember.
Sharif Abdul-Rahim?
I don't know. He's a really good. No, he's
Muhammad Ali.
No, damn it. I feel like he won last year's championship.
Oh no.
But like the reason why he's not in the NBA anymore is because of the fact that he did not want to deal with the political bullshit of the NBA. So like he's essentially he is basically the Colin Kaepernick before Colin Kaepernick was a thing in like the late 90s. Damn, I don't remember his name though. It wasn't Salim Stoudemire because I just looked. It was like a really like
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Three-headed monsters.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I kept my mouth shut. I was gonna. That's the buzzer telling me don't say it.
Oh, you heard my dryer.
The buzzer's like, don't say Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, it was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Because he had a really good career in the NBA, and then he decided, I'm going to be Colin Kaepernick before Colin Kaepernick is probably alive, but that's okay.
Did he get a Nike ad?
No, he didn't, but certain people on Twitter wish he did, you know what I mean?
Oh, this dude is 50 and still balling.
Right?
He should get a better agent.
Yeah. He probably is on the blacklist for
That's hilarious.
the NBA. Like Marbury is Stephen Marbury.
He's a former Denver Nugget.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start talking about Denver Nuggets. So we're not here all night. I know you'll have a time crunch. Denver had to go 7 games to beat San Antonio as the number 2 seed and are now a game ahead of Portland. Are we surprised?
No. Why are you surprised?
I didn't know Portland had a team. So I'm shocked, honestly.
Well, I am kind of surprised because Logan built up the hype for me with Portland, posting Damian Lillard memes for like 3 days straight. So I was like very surprised when I saw the Denver one because I didn't see the game.
Well, with the NBA playoffs, I say the series doesn't truly begin until a road team wins the series. So it should be expected that the Nuggets win the first two, as Portland should win the next two in Portland. If Portland can steal Game 2 in Denver, that shifts the whole home court advantage.
Also, what's interesting to your point is that not a single lower seed won
Oh, yeah, you're right.
a series.
I mean, also, can we talk about how disappointing Brooklyn was after that Game 1?
Yeah. Disappointing effort by Joe Harris and Jared Dudley, my ACC boys.
Just didn't play him enough.
Yeah, that's what I think. Even though Jared Dudley has like a 70 rating in NBA 2K19 now.
I think it's going
to
to
be riding high. You got to be riding high still from the Virginia swashbucklers winning the whole March Madness, though, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to be
That'll
riding.
probably never leave.
Yeah, exactly. I have that as a feather in my cap for the rest of my life.
That's thematically appropriate, considering.
So, how would you rank this? How would you rank this above your top sports moments? Would you put it over some of the Pittsburgh Super Bowls?
Honestly, yes.
Because it's kind of like a hometown.
Yeah.
You never expected it.
Right. For me, I would say UVA number one. The entire playoff run by the Steelers in 06. Steelers winning the Super Bowl in 09. Kobe coming back and winning back-to-back with Pau Gasol by his side in 09 and 2010. And I would say number 4 for me.
Spring break.
Spring break. Yeah, absolutely. Spring break. Sports entertainment. We're talking about sports entertainment. All 3 spring breaks. I don't count the second one. Or the 3.5.
I guess the equivalent of Virginia would be like if the Detroit Lions won for me. Because they've been so bad.
Oh, yeah.
If they won the Super Bowl, that would instantly be my top of all time. Like, there wouldn't be no topping it.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'm glad you did not say UNC winning so many fucking titles. I was gonna be like, fuck you, Logan.
Remember we were talking about college basketball a few weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, I was disappointed that year when we lost in the Final Four, and you're like, dude, you guys go all the time.
Right, exactly.
You're like, you're spoiled.
But yeah, so we'll go back to the topic of hand. And I'll save Golden State and Houston for our main event here. We'll go back. Philadelphia and Toronto. Philadelphia went over Brooklyn 4-1 in the first round after a scare after game 1. And then completely won the next 4 games. And then Toronto going over Orlando 4-1 after a was it game 1 or game 2 scare by Orlando?
Yeah.
They're tied up, Philadelphia and Orlando. Or sorry, Philadelphia and Toronto. Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting Toronto to go off like that in game 1. And then Philadelphia to come right back and do what they did in game 2.
Right. So I guess the home court has shifted to Philly. They have the advantage now with stealing a game in Toronto. I expect this game to go 7. I think they're very equally matched. Or at least 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think if Leonard can go off like he did in game 1, I think Toronto's going to take it. If Jimmy Butler can go the fuck off like he did last night, then Philly takes it. I know that's not saying a whole lot, but you know what I mean?
They're similar. Like, they're guys, like, when they're on their game, they are on their game and almost unstoppable.
Right.
They have that LeBron factor to them.
Right.
Where you can't stop them when they're on fire.
Right. Like, when I saw Butler go off last night, it reminded me of... Did you ever see the seasons of Game of Zones episode.
Shout out to Game of Zones, by the way.
When they basically had Jimmy Butler playing this, like, essentially a serial killer going around with a hatchet. That reminded me of his performance last night.
Yeah, that's very similar. Actually, that didn't even come to my mind, but like I remember that. That's pretty spot on, Nick. I don't think anybody else would have thought of that. You should have tweeted that. Now somebody's probably going to steal your idea and be like, "You remember that episode of Game of Zones?"
Oh, it's wet. It's a thing, Alex. Just take it.
We'll maybe explain it after the podcast goes off.
Yeah. Alex, who do you have between Philly and Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah.
No reason.
Okay.
I'm pulling for
Canadians are
Toronto
statistically
out of the
taller
two.
than Americans.
I went.
Pulling for Toronto out of the two.
Yeah, I went Leonard to get something done. Kawhi Leonard. I have a boss named Leonard. Actually,
Save big money at Leonard.
But yeah.
That's a regional commercial joke for you. We live on opposite sides of a continent.
Yep. And then on the other side of
Bojangles.
Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit combo. Only $6.59. It's great. It's lit. Get yourself
all kinds of hot chicken, by the way.
Picnic size fry with some Bojangles seasoning and a Sierra Mist. Logan and I are going to be eating good.
Shout out to a Mexican restaurant, La Salsas in Morganton, North Carolina. That place is great.
It's
I
wet.
just had to give
It's
that
wet.
a shout out. Had to give that a shout out because my father-in-law told me, he avid listener to the show, told me that
All hail.
I should give them a shout out, and I did. Go with Salsas.
No hablo inglés. No listen to podcasts. No.
Because we said we might be able to get a sponsorship, get us some shirts and merch.
It's wet. So staying in the East, you got the number 1 seed Milwaukee taking on the number 4 seed Boston. Boston taking 1 game over Milwaukee after sweeping Indiana. After Indiana looked like they were going to win first couple games there in the first round, and then of course Milwaukee destroying Detroit 4-0. Boston.
What a terrible series that was.
Right. I just feel like the first round, like you said earlier, first round of this year's NBA playoffs was garbage. And this series can attest to that.
Man, Charlotte would have put up a better fight than Detroit. God,
Yeah.
at least Kemba would have put the team on his back and tried something.
Right. And with Blake Griffin hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the series that I didn't watch. It's probably I didn't watch but 5 minutes because the game would be over within the first 2. It was like a squash match.
Yeah. So does Boston have Milwaukee's number, or is Milwaukee coming back?
Well, the game is going on right now as we record. Milwaukee leads by 7 midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
I think this is a must-win for Milwaukee. They can't lose the first 2 games on the road. If they go down 2-0 going to Boston, the series is over, in my opinion.
I agree.
Boston's a tough place to play. Unless you're LeBron James.
Yeah. No, LeBronto. Oh, sorry. Boston. Not Toronto. I'm wanting my boy Barack Hussein Obama, Malcolm Brogdon, to get shit done. Get to the finals with Giannis and the Greek Freak and Ilyasova. I can't speak. You know what I mean.
Giannis, that's the one. His last name is Antetokounmpo, right?
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. ABC is what you could just call them.
ABC.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's easy. Just call them. It's just initials, ABC.
What does it stand for?
Antetokounmpo.
What does ABC stand for?
I don't know. They just call him that on Twitter, man.
I feel like there's a story behind this.
Well, let's go to the Twitter machine real quick.
Dude.
It's a bizarre nickname. It's just they just call him ABC, man.
Anton would count.
Oh, they call him the alphabet because he's got so many words in his letters in his last name, so they just call him ABC.
Oh, I thought it might have been like when Stone Cold came up with a nickname for Christian. It was like I don't remember what it was now. Like
I do remember there was some kind of nickname.
Was it like TLC, the little creep or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So go back. Go ahead.
While we're on Brogdon, him being out injured has changed. Has really kind of hurt Milwaukee big time because he's kind of been like their sixth man in a way.
Tony Bennett builds players, man.
If he can't make it back, this series might be over. Brogdon's very important to this team.
Yeah.
He gets big minutes when ABC does sit down.
He was the Ty Jerome before Ty Jerome was the thing.
He was, yes.
So moving on to the West. Back to the West. Golden State, number 1 seed in the West, going on against Houston. Golden State had a close one against the Clips of LA, going 6 games, ended up winning 4-2. Houston went over Utah in 5. Golden State is currently up 1-0. A lot of people are saying that the refs cost Houston the game like they did in the final or the Western Conference Finals last year. What say you, Alex?
Dude, I don't know. I wasn't even listening.
Do you like Golden
your
State?
response?
Golden State or Houston?
No, Houston.
Okay.
Because they are Rockets, and if Rockets fight Warriors have no chance.
Even though the Warriors have already beaten the Rockets like they did last year?
Were they properly armed and pointed in the right direction?
I don't
Because
know.
it could have been like one of those North Korea like
It's like
like
rockets
failed
made out
missile things. I
out
hope
of
they're not
sand
listening
and
to
hope.
this.
Our rockets are made out of grade A, whatever we found on the ground.
Hey, you know that they make missiles in Littleton, Colorado?
Yes, I do.
All right, well,
Yes.
clearly the missiles were not made there.
Those are missiles, not rockets.
Boy, they. Logan,
Yes.
do the Rockets, are they cost the series by the refs like they were last year?
Two of those calls at the end were fouls that weren't called. One of them, I could see it going either way. The one was an obvious foul, though. And was it Curry that hit him? I can't remember. Because there was like 2 or 3 at the end where like I felt like there was fouls. There was one where Harden jumped into him, and I can see that shouldn't have been a foul. But
James Harden's the one with the beard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hate James Harden's flopping. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of karma. But then I'm in a situation. I don't like either. You know what? I don't like either one of these two teams. I don't like Harden's flopping, and I don't like Golden State. I hope both lose.
Yeah.
I hope it's a draw, and the winner of the Nuggets and the Trailblazers go to the finals.
Every time, well, for the past 2 years, the Golden State was going over Cleveland. I said, if everybody in Cleveland died in a plane crash, would they give the title to the Cavaliers?
If everybody in Cleveland,
everybody who lives in Cleveland,
Everybody on the Cleveland, everybody on the Cavaliers team, if they died in a plane crash, like the Brazilian thing,
would they do the honorable thing and just give it to Cleveland?
yeah.
No, they would like have Golden State go out there and play like invisible people.
Just play some guys from Cleveland.
Some homeless people, just have them dress up.
I saw the billboard, and I'm here to. What are we doing?
They would give them the title by any means necessary.
Yeah.
That's the NBA's little baby.
Right.
Cleveland?
No, Golden State.
Oh.
So is Golden State the next dynasty? Well, they've already won 3 of the last 4.
They are a dynasty, but as far as like three-peats, I mean, I guess if they get it, they get it.
Is it the worst dynasty in the history of the NBA?
Well, we're gonna go by three-peats or just dynasties in general.
Let's do both.
Well, let me pull out the Google machine here and see what dynasties we had. 'Cause I'm sure some of those early day like NBA team. Oh, well, maybe we should go a little more modern, like 80s and
right.
on.
Yeah,
Since none of us like really could have watched.
Charles Barkley and his team. That's the worst dynasty.
they never won a title. Rings, Ernie, rings.
Why they suck as a dynasty.
So, on Forbes, they named basically all the dynasties. The Chicago Bulls from 90 to 98, the Lakers from 79 to 91 with the Magic days, the Spurs from 99 to 2014, the Celtics from 79 to 88 with Larry Bird, and the Lakers 99 to 2004.
Does that mean the Lakers are the shittiest?
You know what? For the worst, it's got. This isn't easy, but it's got to be close between Golden State and those 99 to 2014 Spurs. Because, like, I look at all these other teams and I see, like, superstars. Like, Tim Duncan, don't get me wrong, he's an all-time great superstar.
But if you put any of
Parker, David Robinson,
right? But if you put those people on any other team by themselves, they can't get the job done, right?
like a LeBron situation,
right?
Oh, I know Tim Duncan was great, but he's not going to hold the ball in his hands. No, you're probably right.
While you have either Kobe or Shaq, Kobe got it done without Shaq. He needed Pau Gasol to do it, and Pau Gasol's no Shaq.
But you always you always have to have at least some kind of supporting cast there.
Right.
So I hate when people are like, well, he did it on his own. No, you got to have somebody with you that's decent.
Who's that? You said, who is that you again?
Well, I was just saying that you got to have somebody, people were like, oh, they did it by themselves, but you got to have some kind of supporting cast.
Right.
Like, even Jordan, like, of course, his last 3 NBA titles, he kind of had a super team of, like, Dennis Rodman and Kerr and Scottie Pippen and all those guys.
Don't forget about the Aussie.
But for his first 3 championships, he had some good supporting cast, but it was kind of just him and Pippen for the first 3 championships.
Yeah.
He didn't have Rodman at that time. I don't think he had Kerr. I don't think he had Kukoc. Kukoc was good, too. I liked Kukoc when I was a kid.
I don't know, just the name.
Kukoc.
Yeah, especially since Michael Jordan by himself got swept multiple years in the late 80s.
Oh, yeah. That was... The Pistons had the great game plan for him back in the 80s. The bad boys, like...
They just fucked him up.
Played with him. Yeah, like, they played, like... that was back when you could, like, just foul as hard as you wanted to. And, like, there'd be no technicals. Like, that's the good old days, man.
Right, so...
Jams days.
If Curry played in that era, he'd be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Curry's less than 6 feet tall. He's probably, what, like 5'3", like Muggsy Bogues?
He wasn't... Yeah, well, no. That's sure.
All right, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit.
But
it's true of almost any sport, really. I mean, if you look at how the trend in all sports is trending towards more skill, less physicality. Like, even NFL football, guys like Tyreek Hill, would never have lasted in the old NFL. They would have been blasted apart by defenders that could hit them from the blind side.
Bill Romanowski would have took his head off.
Exactly.
Old steroid head.
It has gone so much more towards what is your skill level than what is your physical, like your physical dominance.
And that's why you rarely see like good defenses anymore, because it's all geared towards offense.
Well, no, you see great skilled defenses like
yes, that's true.
Von
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
You see guys that can outthink the quarterback. You see guys like Von Miller who are so twitchy and able to jump a snap they can get in the backfield.
Right.
Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
And you still have guys like Khalil Mack that can bull rush somebody.
But I guess you don't see like slow, strong defense guys like you used to. Like
Yeah.
Ray Nitschke.
Yeah. But going back to the
60s.
the NBA,
Sure, Nitschke, why not?
I don't think that the current Golden State Warriors would be able to match up with other dynasties, especially since if you dissect their titles, for example, 2015, if Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were on the 2015 team, honestly, I think the Cavaliers would have won in 5.
The pre Durant Warriors.
Correct.
When it was,
Correct.
yeah. Yeah, because they, if I'm not mistaken, like right before Irving got hurt, they dominated.
Right. And that was in game 1.
And then he got hurt, and it kind of just changed like the game and the series.
Yeah, Dellavedova was not the kind of guy that you.
And I think game 1 was in Golden State, so if they could have stole that home court, but
Yeah.
we're just fantasy booking at this point.
Right. And then 2016, obviously, Green should have gotten suspended way before that.
He should have been suspended like the round before that when like Oklahoma City was up 3-1.
Right, I agree. Had that happened, it would have been OKC versus Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah. And then 2017, of course, the only reason why they came back, as like Sports Talk Barry likes to say, Green had to go cry in his car after losing.
And he called KD the night of Game 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Which should have been tampering because
Right.
they weren't allowed to yet.
Yeah. But Silver's team is the Warriors for some reason. And then 2018. Who cares about 2018? Didn't happen.
The Bucks are up 14.
Maybe they just had an off night.
But with all that said, I hate to play conspiracies, but I don't see the NBA allowing the Warriors to lose in the second round.
Yeah.
Because you saw the Clippers series, like there was a point where the Clippers had to lead, and then like all of a sudden, like Golden State was getting all the calls. But that's a whole other story. I don't want to like hurt people and be like, yeah, he's just complaining.
We don't want to hurt the feely wheelies of some bandwagon fans.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I think Golden State's going to the finals.
Yeah. That's why we need
And they're probably
Giannis.
going to win again.
But Giannis needs to blow them the fuck out.
He's the most talented I see left in the playoffs that could.
Unless Green decides to take his balls out.
What if Kyrie gets there and beats him with like another like clutch game-winning shot again?
And not hear the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that happens, we're going to have another 45-minute long NBA segment, and I'm going to bang my head against a sharp object.
Yeah, and with that said, we probably should move on because we have pretty long on the NBA.
Okay.
Because we kind of went off on tangents several times. Sorry, guys.
So I'm not bitter. Did I sound bitter?
Alex, you want to do some show and tell with your...
Yeah, do an NFL draft while we lead into it. Tell us your stories.
You want to do NFL draft before demise of the AAF?
Do you want to do AAF last, just in case people don't want to?
Yeah.
We could, because there's going to be rage.
Well, the next 3 segments are yours. So, because we got NFL draft, we got you watching wrestling, and then we got AAF.
And the only reason I say we go AAF
Never
and
mind, we
wrestling.
can go back to NBA. That's a lot of talking.
The only reason that I want to hold off on AAF till late, because that kind of caters to like a certain type of audience.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because some people will be like, I don't want to listen to it now. They're talking about AAF. They're talking about wrestling in New York.
Yeah.
So the deal with the NFL draft, I went there with the r/NFL moderator team on Reddit.
Did they invite you?
I was invited. Yes.
Did they all expenses
just showed up?
All expenses paid?
No.
Oh. Did you meet Bill?
Bill Romanowski? No.
Well, no. Well,
Bill Polian? No.
So we're going to do this for the XFL championship?
do what?
What?
We're all gonna meet up for the XFL championship next year.
Since we're all mods.
Well, might as well.
So Bill.
Bill who? Yeah. No, Bill did not go.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Sadly. But met a bunch of other guys that he is also friends with, and made some friends of with them as well. But I honestly was so distracted through the whole thing, I barely was able to pay attention to the draft because I was running an AMA the first night, and then the second night I was trying to run the Twitter account.
The fuck? Why is that your responsibility?
Because that's what I'm on the mod team for.
To do social media?
Yeah.
Now, does it look in person?
Fuck all that noise.
In person during the draft, with all those people there, does it look as chaotic as it does on TV?
Oh, it's so bad. Dude, there were 100,000 people in downtown Nashville, and I honestly felt like if I had ripped an enormous fart or like shit myself, nobody would even care. Nobody would have moved.
Like, it looked like everybody was just crammed in there like sardines.
Oh my god, it was so hard to get through the crowd. I managed to push forward at one point and get real to the stage to watch one of the Broncos picks. But probably the best story happened outside of the actual draft being live. So the NFL, r/NFL team has a few very dedicated people who have put together this massive spreadsheet of every person who could potentially get drafted with all of their information, like from if they went to the combine, where they went to high school, what they had for lunch, what their mother's name is, how big are their hands, everything. And then there's a person that designs a player card similar to like a Topps football card that pulls their photo and all of the information from the spreadsheet along with a little one-liner joke and posts it to Twitter and to the live thread on Reddit as soon as that person is drafted. It's a very impressive little maneuver that these guys have put together, and basically all that I contributed to it was like I wrote like 200 one-liners for this thing. And at any rate, so they start going up on Twitter. They're doing pretty well, pretty popular. I go to bed at like 2 a.m. and wake up at 6. Go on to Twitter to see, what was the interaction during the middle of the night, and found that somebody had tagged me and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And I was like, "What? Did I say something bad?" And so I clicked on it, and it was actually someone had added us on a reply to Barstool Sports, who had taken one of our player cards, chopped off the attribution at the top, and posted it as their own content.
That sounds about par for Barstool.
Right. Well, I left a snarky comment, something like, "Hey, Barstool, nice player card you get there." And, people started to figure out in the Twitter thread that was not their content. And in the meantime, I sat down and filed a DMCA notice against them, which was pretty enjoyable. And by late that afternoon, they had deleted the tweet, and I felt very victorious. It was a very nice little experience.
You took down the monster called Barstool.
Yep, I got them to delete their tweet, and then 30 minutes later, they posted the exact same thing on Instagram.
I will say that I do like El Presidente's Pizza reviews.
Oh yeah, I also like PFT commenter quite a bit. I thought you were going to say El Presidente congratulating the number 2 pick instead of the number 1 pick.
What?
The President of the United States congratulated Nick Bosa on being drafted number 2.
Because he's an avid Trump supporter.
Correct, and he did not congratulate anyone else.
Interesting.
Yep. I'm sure it's not racist.
Anyways, take first bite. Everybody knows the rules.
Pizza review.
Yeah.
So, what was I guess the biggest story from the draft? There was two of them. Obviously, the Josh Rosen trade, and then you had yes, and then you had the Giants. And we're already laughing here.
But you know what? It's just they're not as dumb as the Raiders, who picked Colin Farrell, and he's an actor. He's not even a football player.
That's up there too. Yeah, that was even more mind-blowing than Daniel Jones, in my opinion.
I thought the Daniel Jones pick was weird, but also, like, depending on what they want for their scheme, he might be a decent choice for them. And
right.
They were trying to trade back and couldn't get it done, so they just picked the guy that they wanted. The Raiders is the same story. They were trying to trade back, and then when they couldn't realistically do it, they just picked Cleveland Farrell because that was the guy they wanted.
You know, I can't really bash draft picks until we actually see it play out. Because if there's a guy you truly want and you truly believe he's going to help, you take the guy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true, but at the same time, you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Like the Lions taking the tight end. Yes, we need a tight end. I didn't like it at the time because there were some elite defensive players on the board. But at the same time, later
Bush.
on, yeah, when I had hours to process this, I said, you know what? If this is the guy they really believe in, well, let's go for it.
Yeah, you got the first Iowa tight end, and the Broncos got the second Iowa tight end.
That's like isn't that like tight end University, Iowa?
Yeah, it might as well be. I'll talk about the Rosen trade a little bit because he got beat up in the media. I think Steve Smith railroaded him on live TV during the draft coverage.
That was very unfair.
Calling him a baby and telling him that it's not his football. While there is merit to what he said, it's a complete mischaracterization of who Josh Rosen is as a person. Like when he found out that Kyler Murray got drafted, he said, thank you to the city. He said, congratulations to Kyler Murray and his family, and made a little joke at the end. I don't know if you guys saw this video, but he was like, "Oh, by the way, Kyler, a really nice 2-bedroom apartment has just come up in Old Town if you're interested."
Yeah,
he's moving out of his apartment. And then after that video, he went straight down the street to the celebrity home run derby and hit 13 home runs, which I thought was like, that's a pretty good way to bounce back. But he's gonna die in Florida, though. Like he's going from the 32nd best offensive line, meaning the worst offensive line, to number 31.
Oh, I did not realize they were that bad.
Oh, it's bad. I feel so bad for him. And the Dolphins are tanking, right? Trying to do a rebuild, and it's a disappointing thing to see for him because I feel like he has the potential to be a very talented quarterback.
Oh, I agree. I think overall it's a great trade for Miami because.
Oh yeah, I mean
they didn't have to give nothing up.
And his contract it's still the rookie contract, so he's only a $6 million hit. Plus, I think they got a 5th round pick in this year's draft also.
Yeah. Are we clapping to something?
The cat was being a moron.
Oh.
But yeah, clap for that. Clap for Rosen burning in Orlando. Or in Miami.
Same place. It's Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida.
So Vegas early odds has the worst records for next year, tied Arizona and Miami with I think 4 or 5 wins. I think I saw.
That sounds about right. Poor bastard. And Kyler Murray, who knows how that's going to turn out? But I honestly didn't believe that he was going to go number 1. I heard it. Everybody heard it. But the fact that they actually did it shocked me a little bit because of how poor of a position it put them in for the Rosen trade.
Right. I would, with all those elite talented defenders, like, I don't know. Like Murray's going to be...
no one else? Oh,
yeah.
You mean the talented defenders in the draft?
They could have drafted, yeah. Like,
yeah.
You could have did that. I mean, you took Murray. I think Murray's going to be good, but we won't see the potential because of the offensive line for probably many, many years. I would have stuck with Rosen, and I would have held that number 1 pick hostage and got a bunch of picks for it and traded down and just picked up dropped a few spots and got Josh Allen or somebody like that.
You could have done it, and you still could have gotten Kyler Murray and had gotten to eat your cake too by trading out of number 1.
Right. Because is there anybody that would have actually went up to number 1 to get Murray?
The Giants, maybe.
Giants. Well, by the way, Gettleman talked, though, it almost sounds like he was going to go Daniel Jones even if he had the number 1 pick. I could see him trading to the number 1 pick and then taking Daniel Jones. I had a feeling that he was going to be picked at 2nd or 3rd, so I had to go up to number 1.
So what did you guys do during the draft?
I wasn't watching. Oh, I was at Avengers. That's what I was doing.
I was watching it with my father-in-law, and we watched the draft. He's a Dolphins fan, so he was upset when they didn't get they didn't get Dwayne Haskins, but when they got Rosen the next day, he was pretty happy because then we talked about how they got that really good defensive line from Clemson as well, defensive lineman. So I thought Miami had a good draft. They got a lot of needs. When the Rosen trade helps. When you're that bad, or have a whole bunch of holes, I should say, any pick's going to be good at that point.
Yeah, I mean they need to develop on both sides of the ball. Like I said, they're rebuilding.
So, speaking of things that are bad, Logan, do you want to shift gears and go to start talking about New York, and we can turn that into WrestleMania.
Whoo-wee. What a city New York was. So, I get off the plane on that Tuesday, and I have somebody pick me up, and we go to Atlantic City the first night. Well, he asked me if I want to go to Burger King on the way, and I'm like, okay. So we get on the turnpike, and we stop at one of those rest areas. And that was probably a bad idea, because rest area restaurants are going to be more expensive.
And so also, in quality, they're not very good.
Probably. Because, I walk up to the Burger King, and I'm up just staring at the menu.
Also because it's Burger King. Yep.
So I'm staring at the menu, and this guy's like, "What you want?" I'm like, "What? What you want?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know yet." And I'm like, "Let me just get a regular Whopper with cheese. You want fries with that?" And I'm like, sure. And then they ask me what I want to drink, and I'm like, root beer. And they just stare at me because I guess I had my southern accent come out.
Yeah,
they don't understand what I'm saying.
I heard it.
But anyway, I'm like, okay. And they're like, that'll be $15. And I'm like, what? For just not even a double Whopper. It was a single Whopper. What would a double Whopper would have been, 20?
That's outrageous.
So then I go to Atlantic City and don't get mugged there because there was nobody visiting because it was cold.
Are we going to have issues getting mugged when we go?
No, there'll be plenty of people, I believe.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot nicer. This was freezing cold rain and people asking for money and stuff because they said they need it. And I just walked by them and no-sold them. I did see a cool cat just sitting there on the side of the road staring at me. Well, anyway, we get to New York and
Like a cat? Like an actual cat?
Yeah, a cat just sitting on the road just staring at us.
I thought you were just using 70s lingo. I saw
No, a real like meow cat.
Oh.
So like we get on the plane and then no, not on the plane. I've already been on the plane. We go to the guy's house I was with, and this guy he gets us on the Long Island Railroad track, and we take it into Penn Station. Well, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then we get out and like we walk up the little like steps, and then like you're in Times Square or very close to it, and I'm just like overwhelmed with a suitcase, like rolling suitcase in my hand, and people were already like walking and running me over as soon as I get there, and I'm just like, what is going on? And like it's just overwhelming. We eventually get to the hotel after my navigator didn't know how to use GPS on his phone, and he's from New York and can't figure out how to walk in New York. Yes, I'm shooting on him.
Oh man.
Anyway, we finally get there. Might I add, when I had to meet Nick at the Bruce Pritchard Something to Wrestle With show, I had no issue guiding myself to the area that I needed to be at, and I'm from North Carolina. Anyway, I'm just going to break down some highlights that I had that was kind of memorable. Our hotel was right beside a parole office, and every morning there would be a whole bunch of sketchy people just lined up outside there and would stare at us as we walked by. I held onto my wallet very tight. And there was a liquor store right beside it. And then, like, right beside that was, like, a XXX rated adult video store. So, sketchiness galore where our hotel was. And, so, like, I saw a homeless guy hawk a loogie, like a really hard one, like, and spit on just a random commuter. And then the homeless...
I gotta tell you, when I was in... a homeless guy put a cigarette out on my arm.
What? In New York as well?
Yes.
Man, New York fucking sucks.
It does. So anyway, like, this commuter just stares at the guy, and then the homeless guy just starts laughing. He's like, I didn't mean to do that to you. And I'm pretty sure a fight broke out, but I don't know. We just kept walking to, like, not get stuck in between a fight. So we just kept walking. Other weird things, like a palm reader like was just there and was like, do you want me to read your palms? And I'm just like, I ain't got no hands, you can't read my palms. As I threw my hands up in the air. Because at this point I was just getting frustrated and getting very sarcastic with people like that.
I was born without palms. It's tragic.
Other stuff that happened, I saw a guy arrested. I guess maybe a domestic violence thing or something. Like, he was arrested and he was strapped to like a hospital bed and put into an ambulance while being strapped to it so he wouldn't get out.
All right.
This was like, everything was like real like Grand Theft Auto type stuff, like from the video game. Like, it was like very real and weird. The last story I'll say is we're going to, on Thursday or Friday night, we're going to go get some late night food down the road about 1 a.m. And there was a guy of a different ethnicity
Okay.
that asked us, said, hey man, I just got out of prison. I need some money. And like, we no-sold the guy and just kept walking because that's what you're supposed to do. You just ignore those type of people. Well, this guy keeps following us. And I have a black friend named Todd, and this the guy that was asking for money like starts harassing Todd. and he was chasing us down the road, calling Todd the N-word.
Oh no! By the way,
I mean-
Todd is the least is the whitest name I've ever heard for like a black guy that's trying to defend himself against a scary prison guy.
And he's just like, I can't believe you gonna do another black man like that. And it was very uncomfortable. And luckily,
Yeah.
I was like sweating bullets, thought we were gonna get mugged or jumped or something. Luckily, like we saw another walkway open, like real quick to the right, and we walked over there, and the other guy got stuck by the holding up hands thing sign. So he got stuck on the other side of the road, and then he just ended up harassing somebody else.
I gotta imagine how scary that was for Todd.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Like,
sorry for Todd.
That's not exciting.
And then the other guy that we were with, he kind of runs like the cartoon characters Ed, and Eddie, like where his body's going forward but his head's backwards.
I love chickens, Eddie. I want Wicky Witchy.
So yeah, like he was walking really fast for me. The only cool thing that came out of that experience is where we had to cross the road is we actually ran into Xavier Woods and Luke Harper trying to get a taxi cab on the other side of the road.
Huh.
But there's several other stuff, but I just can't think of them at the moment because I'm trying to erase all these memories from my brain. As far as the events, overall, these were the best shows I've ever went to.
You thought it was
in a
better
week.
than New Orleans?
as a whole show wise.
Yeah.
As far as the Mania experience or just being in a city, it was the worst I've ever been to.
Orlando's been the best, right? Would you say?
Orlando was top. A lot of people were like New Orleans, but I think New Orleans was pretty trashy too. I'd put
And
Dallas
super
ahead of New
expensive.
Orleans. I'd put Dallas ahead of New Orleans.
I would agree. Dallas was less expensive, as well as Orlando. I'd say Orlando is the least expensive, super easy to get to.
And I know it was so far long, it was a while back for 27, but I really enjoyed Atlanta as well because I could just drive, and it was like less than 4 hours.
Oh, man, you can drive in Atlanta now. The traffic there is horrible.
Well, what I did is I stayed a little far out. I didn't stay in actual downtown, so that kind of helped with things. Because I didn't want to even mess with downtown until it was time to actually go there.
So
And then
you want to talk WrestleMania?
yeah, I know you enjoyed the NXT show on the Friday night before WrestleMania with Johnny Gargano winning the championship.
That's right, Johnny Wrestling.
Yeah. I feel like tweet-wise, I feel like you were into that show more than you were WrestleMania.
Well, I had a weird WrestleMania experience, but we'll get to that after NXT. Yeah,
Also at the same time, NXT is a little easier to take in because it's 2 hours and not 8 hours.
Right. And also, like, they really clearly defined everyone's stories for NXT, whereas like WrestleMania, they were kind of expecting you to know what was up.
That's very true. Like, so like my wife, like, she doesn't watch wrestling at all, but when she does watch it, like, she enjoys NXT more than the regular WWE roster because she feels the characters are actual characters. And like WrestleMania, like, or WWE in general, I know Nick will agree with me, it's just like thrown together. It feels like just like we're just gonna do whatever because we're WWE.
Yeah, and they also made $1 billion from this Fox SmackDown deal. And if you listen to some people, they seem to think that that somehow money is going to make the product better, and they're going to stack SmackDown and everything. And to that, I say bullshit. Also, I didn't watch a lot of WrestleMania, and I didn't watch TakeOver either because I was at a way better event in form of Spring Break.
Which we may be doing a live review of that at some point. Stay tuned. Because we feel that's something I feel that Alex should see.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, you need to see it as well. Honestly, I think Spring Break 3 Part 1 has been their best Spring Break. Like, last year was really good, but I think this year, like, they went nuts. And it also helped that it was at 8 p.m. instead of 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. rather.
Now, I have an interesting take, and I want to kind of get, I mean, not a take, but I want to get Alex's point of view on this, is I thought that the first half of WrestleMania was phenomenal. And then...
Isn't that what happened last year as well?
Yeah, like, I feel if they would have just had a typical 3-hour pay-per-view and it would have ended with Kofi Kingston winning the championship, if it would have went off right there, the show would have been, like, perfect.
But Logan, Becky needs her Austin moment, Logan, by main eventing an 8-hour pay-per-view, and you could sweep in between it.
I didn't give a shit about the main event.
So you wanted my take on the first half of WrestleMania?
Or did you feel like the first part was good and then the last part was just like it was so far along that no, you didn't care at that point? Like when you got to like the final like 3 or 4 matches.
Okay. So I gotta preface this by saying I had a pretty weird WrestleMania experience because like I had just watched wrestling for the first time in over a decade the day before with NXT. And then fast forward to the next day, and it's like, okay, I'm going to do this up proper. Like, I'm going to get tons of hot wings and a pizza, and I went to Rita's Italian Ice, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
I love Rita's.
I love
Yes,
Rita's
that
too.
is nationwide, man.
We don't have any in Virginia, but yeah.
They have
I have to go to Delaware.
Colorado, and it's right by my house.
Dude,
So
if I had one next to my house, I'd be going over there every single day.
Right, so here's the deal with that, is I got like 5 or 6 gallons of different ices.
Oh my gosh, you were ready for WrestleMania.
And I made like frozen margaritas with it, and I made like a couple of different alcoholic frozen beverages in the blender.
Oh my god.
That I had different drinks for different times. Okay, and then what you also need to know is that not long after that, I was diagnosed with diabetes, which I had not told you guys about. But you can imagine me being at WrestleMania and consuming hundreds of grams of sugar over the course of 8 hours. I thought I was going to die.
Oh my God.
I didn't know why. I had no idea why. So I was like, I feel weird. I'm going to get on the exercise bike and watch. So I pulled the exercise bike into my media room and just pedaled while I was on the couch. I hope this makes me feel better. And so basically, I was in a diabetic haze during most of WrestleMania.
Oh my gosh!
An undiagnosed diabetic haze. I didn't know.
So for you, like being an 8-hour show, it probably felt like a 16 to 24 hours.
Exactly, but I still was enjoying it because like I got to see stuff. Like I saw wrestlers that I recognized.
Right.
The fact that Rey Mysterio and his match only lasted like 30 seconds was the most bullshit of all time.
I can see that, but from my point, I was so happy. Just because I was ready to go at that point.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite matches because it was so quick.
I enjoyed the later stuff, with Triple H, because I was
I did go back and watch that. That was a better match the second time I watched it than the first.
And you got to remember, like I saw Dave Bautista doing wrestling stuff when I was a child,
right?
And now I know him as an actor. So then I'm watching him do this and like hearing about his story. Like he beat up Ric Flair or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Like it was. I enjoyed it the second go round because like. I think the first time that I didn't pay attention to it because the guy beside me that I was with kept falling asleep during it.
Adam Sleep Watch 2019.
So I had to give the guys the update in the chat of him falling asleep. And his reasoning at the end of the show was that he had to take a nap during WrestleMania so he could be up to see Becky Lynch win the title in the main event. So imagine paying $300 to $400 for seats that you're gonna nap in.
Yep, that's an expensive nap. Also, like, I liked that fight between Triple H and Batista because I knew who both of them were.
Right.
Like, Kofi, I can understand everybody's excited about Kofi, but when I was watching wrestling that way back when, he had been introduced
As Jamaican.
as a Jamaican guy, minor character, not important. And then now here he is. And I've skipped his entire career, and I'm fast forwarding to the end of it. And I'm like,
That's
guy is. Everyone's really happy for him, I guess.
yeah. He's kind of like. It's kind of like being at a job for a long time and you're not getting that raise or that next position, and he kind of finally got it. Yeah,
That's
It was a
why
good
you just
story.
be like me, and if you're not getting a raise, just leave the job after a year, and then you'll get that raise.
So should Kofi go to AEW?
Fuck no. Go to Japan.
No, but that was that was probably, out of all the manias I've been to, it was Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 was my favorite moment, but now that's probably topped it, which is weird because he beat Daniel Bryan. Just because I haven't seen a reaction like that in person. Like, that was pretty insane.
I do want to talk about the main event because I don't know who any of these women are, and except for Ronda Rousey, because
What about Charlotte being Ric Flair's daughter?
I heard about that, but I know her as the lady that came to WrestleMania. Helicopter took way too fucking long to get dressed, and then walked through an empty parking lot to get to the ring.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that entrance.
That's
Like,
all I know about her.
Like, at the show, like, that was so confusing to us. And like, the guy I'm with's like looking for the plane, even though like it was obviously recording.
But she had to walk through the empty.
Logan, where's the fucking plane? God fucking damn it!
I forgot to tell you guys that.
Oh my god! It was just like they couldn't have dropped her off closer. She's gonna have to walk all the way in, and then of course I know who Ronda Rousey is, but she's like playing a character who's really angry, and she's not angry. Like, in all of her interviews, she's a very bubbly person. So I'm watching, and she's saying "bitch" a lot. I'm like, why is everybody bitch? And then Becky, who apparently everybody's rooting for, but I don't fucking know who Becky is. So I'm like, I guess I'm rooting for Ronda Rousey because of name recognition.
I don't get the Becky thing. I think she's very boring.
I
Her
agree.
name is Becky. Of course she's boring.
Basic ass bitch Becky.
With the good hair.
But
That was a fucking weave. That was not her real hair.
This hot take. That was the worst main event, WrestleMania main event I've ever seen. I would rather watch Lawrence Taylor, who main evented WrestleMania main evented WrestleMania 11 against Bam Bam Bigelow. I would rather watch this over that. Like,
I feel bad because it's cool that they did a main event for the three women, but at the same time, I don't know, man.
Did it come off as bad to you, being that you had watched it for the first time in a while?
It came off as bad because on the final pin of Ronda Rousey,
They messed it up.
See,
even you seen that, and like, yeah, like even you saw that. Like,
and I was pissed.
For me, sorry.
I was gonna say, in the arena or the stadium, like, we didn't know the match was over, and the guy I was with was pulling for Becky so hard he thought she lost because it was so confusing.
Did he freak the fuck out?
He did at first, and he's like, "Oh, she won!" But then like 5 seconds later, he was like, "They ruined it, Logan."
What were you gonna say, Nick?
I only watched like an hour of it because I didn't get home until like, I don't know.
You got the worst hour
10
possible
p.m.
when you watched it.
I only watched it an hour and I was already exhausted. I was like, this is bad.
You got the worst part of the show too.
Yeah.
Oh, also when they ended it, it was just like, okay, Becky wins, and then cut, and then started over.
Oh, it really was, yeah, because like
It was a slam cut from she's holding the belt to the beginning of WrestleMania coverage.
Even for the live audience, like she just pretty much like walked to the back and that was the show.
Like what?
Like
that was such a like a blue ball moment because it didn't make sense, and then it was over.
Because the guy I was with was just like waiting for her to do something, and like I'm like, come on, man. So then we ended up getting stuck outside for like 2 hours because we had to watch Becky Lynch do nothing because the New Jersey transit sucks. New York sucks. Everything up there sucks. The pizza, overrated. I'd rather eat New York pizza here in Hickory, North Carolina, on my own couch.
Don't tell Kush that. You guys are a bunch of hermits for not liking New York pizza in New York.
Here's the thing. I enjoyed New York pizza, but I don't want to stand there because there's not many sit-down places you can go with this pizza. You have to be on the street and smell piss, alcohol, weed, cocaine, all that mixed together. It smells awful. So now your pizza smells like all that because you're trying to eat it while you're in that street. That's why I couldn't force myself to eat a street dog off one of the fenders. It smells so bad.
So the thing about New York that bothers me is that it seems like from the trip that I took, it feels like New York is a much different city if you have plenty of money to spend.
Agreed, probably.
But if you're doing New York and you're trying to do New York, you can still do a couple of things that are cool and eat a couple of interesting meals, but everything is going to be exactly as you described it. You're going to be living in the piss and the homeless people.
Yeah, like I went on a budget and it didn't work out budget-wise.
Yeah. Did you go to Gray's Papaya?
No, he took me to some other random pizza place that wasn't good.
I had Sicilian pizza in New Jersey, in Jersey City, and I had a blast. Honestly, I had a lot of fun in Jersey City, and when I went to New York, I could already tell it was shitty. Like, we found, like, this is just ridiculous.
Are you going to tell them about when you met me and I looked like I was, like, in a daze and looked like I was dead?
Yeah, so
I looked like I was in The Walking Dead.
To go 2 miles, I took an Uber that took, like, 30 minutes.
Yeah, you should have walked that.
Yeah.
But then he would have got like hoarded by everybody for Buddy and like Mexican Deadpools, like trying to get you to take a picture.
Right, because I had to go through Times Square. So we get to the show, and I tried to transfer the ticket to Logan the night before. It didn't work. It acted like it was in pending status. I freaked the fuck out. I wasn't able to get it to work. Ticketmaster wasn't answering their phone, so I get to the box office and they're like, did you try and transfer it? I said, no. Are you sure? Yeah. They said, all right. So they gave us tickets. I was like, okay, thank God. But the show was good. And then we got out and we walked to the Korean restaurant, and
which was good.
Yeah, I liked it. Would you say it was as good as the Nova?
I enjoyed the Nova one more because it was cheaper, and I felt like the food, like, we got more.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it was like all you could eat. And
right.
Just kept bringing it out. But
we also spent $25 a person instead of $60.
Yeah, and like they don't look at you like you're idiots when you're at the Nova one.
Right. We will be going.
Explain that part.
Okay, so I asked for a soybean soup. They give it to Logan. And I'm like, okay, can I get one? She's like, get what? Soybean soup? And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, can I get a soybean soup? I just ordered one. She's like, no, you didn't. I was like, you gave it to him. You didn't give it to me.
They gave you the bowl of eggs.
Yeah.
It was an egg soup, but there was like no soup. It was just eggs.
Yeah. So she's like, all right, what do you want? And I said, soybean soup. And she's like, okay. And it took like 15 minutes.
For something that was probably already cooked because it comes with every meal.
Yeah.
And then like, there were some other things that happened that they just looked at you like you were dumb, but like I don't know. I felt like that the whole city, like, because like I'm Southern, people just like looked at me like stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'm the stupid one.
And then we were walking to Madison Square Garden, and I just felt like Logan's energy just was sapped from his body after that meal. And I was
I
like...
looked like a walker from The Walking
yeah.
Dead.
Either I felt like I somehow pissed off Logan, or...
Also at this point, I should add that I just found out that somebody took like $200 from us and compromised our card here in North Carolina.
Spent it at fucking Lowe's. Who the fuck?
At Lowe's.
Y'all got the money back, right?
Yeah, we got the money back, thankfully, 2 days later.
Oh, okay, good.
Here's the funny part is all they did was buy $200 worth of gift cards. And
Really?
a shovel.
The Berry people. It was Triple H.
But yeah, so you look at me and...
You look like you want to like jump in front of a bus, basically.
I was so tired of that city at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I was tired of people asking me for money. I felt like I was just going to, like, throw the next person that did say that actually into the bus.
God is taking with your fucking wife, Logan.
I will say the nicest part of New York City...
Why does he have that speech?
Because he does. He really does. But my favorite part of New York City was probably actually when I went to meet Nick, is because like it was actually by this nice little park and there wasn't as many people there. Like compared to Times Square, it was a lot nicer. Like there wasn't like you weren't getting ran over if you had to stop and do something.
Oh, and you know what? We missed the best part. So we walked by this girl that was probably college age. I felt like she was wearing a Virginia sweatshirt. And I said, UVA, go Who's Go. And she looked at me like I was going to like molest her or something.
She did.
And I said, these people in the city are fucking crazy. You're going to wear a Virginia sweatshirt and then get fucking disgusted if somebody says, hey, Virginia.
That to me, that just makes me think that she just wore the hat to wear the hat and didn't know nothing about what was going on.
It's possible. Also, the word "whose" is a scary word if you're a lady and don't understand the reference.
But she's wearing a Virginia sweater.
But what if she doesn't get it?
Then she shouldn't be wearing a Virginia sweater.
I guess
It's a lifestyle choice.
Well, I don't support her lifestyle choice.
Do you guys want to go on to many AAF news?
I feel like fuck the AAF.
Fuck Tom Dundon and fuck the Carolina Hurricanes. God damn it.
Go Hurricanes, go. Wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
I did find it hilariously ironic that Tom Dundon's team, Hurricanes, after a Hurricanes fan said on social media that they wanted the Hurricanes to injure the players on the opposing team, that the Hurricanes responded saying, we never want anyone to be injured or harmed in any way, while Tom Dundon's AAF is sending bills to players for their medical bills that they played.
Ooh.
And creditors are calling them now.
Right. And it's like, we're not going to pay for your medical coverage, but we're going to poo-poo anyone talking about injuries.
To close the show, do you guys want to go for your power rankings?
For my 666th pick, I picked Tom Dundon because fuck Tom Dundon.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Although it's really not so much his fault. Like, it's been long enough now that I can say that with a straight face. That the AAF was doomed from the beginning. So many bad decisions were made before he even showed up. But fuck him, though.
Wait, so whose fault is it then?
It's a longer conversation, but Charlie, oh Jesus, come on,
Eberson.
Charlie Ebersol and Bill Polian did not do a good
Bill
job.
Polio.
Mr. Polio did not do a good job. But their path was going to be, they rushed it, didn't have the money, weren't organized, understood the football part, which was why it was good to watch, because the football was enjoyable, but did not have the business part figured out at all. And just shot the whole thing in the foot from the start. It was dead. It was doomed.
For my 7,637, I'm going with Enrique Iglesias because he sang a World Cup song one time. I don't know what the song is
and
called.
I will be your hero, baby.
I can kiss away the pain. Oh yeah.
Oh man, you hit it.
My number 11 pick is Batman. I was super sad when Batman died in Infinity War.
Dang, we're gonna have so much hate mail now.
I know, spoilers.
My number 2064 is Jessica Biel because she played soccer in her youth.
What is it with you in soccer right now?
Hey, it's almost time for the World Cup in like
What?
2 years, 3 years.
Like, well, you got the Women's Cup, man.
Isn't it? It's going to Dubai, right?
I don't really know. I don't know why
No,
I'm on a
it's in,
soccer tangent.
Cutter.
Guys.
Yeah, that's right. Which is the most bullshit, obvious FIFA taking all the money. I hate them. Was that coherent?
Yes.
My
It's 124 degrees there.
and 67th pick is Tony Kornheiser. Because Good Night Canada.
Pardon the interruption. The show
Oh, okay.
on ESPN. My 2064 is I already had that number. Sorry, we can't tell you with Jessica Biel. Number 8,578 is Kevin Sorbo, Hercules, because in college. Because first off, he was Hercules, and Hercules was probably very athletic. And Kevin Sorbo in college played baseball, basketball, and hockey. He might have played soccer too. We're not sure.
My 668th pick then is Xena Princess Warrior.
Warrior Princess, you fucking heathen.
Whatever.
Is it when I was a kid?
You thought she was China?
I thought her and China were the same person. I can't be the only one that thought that.
My 678th person is Taz. Because he hates mailmen and wants to give them mafia kicks.
Logan? Are you okay, buddy?
Our first live death on a podcast.
My pick number 412 is that guy who played the voice of the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog.
Is it because they played soccer?
No, it's because I really wish I could have Taco Bell, but I'm dying.
But I guess that'll do it for this week, right? That's the perfect way to end it.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you everybody for listening. See you next week for episode 14 as we talk about Kane and his top 10 moments. We're a multiverse here, so we're going forth with Hey Wogan.
Hey, Logan.
Good night, Canada.
Oh my God.